Hi everyone. Now, it doesn't take long if you search on the internet for evidence to back up this claim that's often cited that English women are the ugliest in Europe, or by some chance they're ugliest in the world. And women in England are often overweight, and as well as this they have fake tans, often from a bottle because there's not enough sun to get naturally tanned, of course. And to make matters worse, they're often seen as acting in a very unladylike, unfeminine way, especially when they're traveling somewhere abroad to some of the Mediterranean countries. And there's a little bit of a historical reason why generally diet in the UK has been quite poor. And unfortunately, when it was the wartime, there was a lot of rationing, especially of fresh produce. And afterwards, people got used to eating food in tins and food that was packaged to last. So they stopped using fresh food as much and just used frozen or tinned food. And that still continues today, with people actually struggling to cook fresh, decent, nourishing meals. And it would explain why so many people here often seem to be physically overweight. And that has, of course, an effect on how attractive they're considered to be too. Now, I found that most men in England, when it comes to dating and finding a partner, they'd rather find somebody from another country such as Eastern Europe or Russia, or even as far as Asia, like Thailand, China. There's women across the world who many men would love to marry. And the other reason why English women are seen as unattractive is just the way that they generally carry themselves. They're not generally seen as being very elegant, and I must admit that that's often the case, that you'll see them letting everything hang out in public. There's not much sense of decorum in the way they act, especially when they're drinking. To be honest, they don't really seem to care, which is really sad, because English people in the past were seen as, being gentlemanly and being very, very elegant, very reserved, but that's all gone out the window now, and it's very hard to see people really behaving with decency anymore in most of the towns and the cities. And I don't even think this is just about the chavs. I think this is just about people generally. They've kind of lost the way they should behave. So I know I'm not saying I'm one to judge. I'm not the most attractive guy in the world, but I do feel as though the other problem is, when it comes to dating English women, is they've got this incredibly unrealistic checklist for the kind of ideal man that they're seeking, and it's not as though they're bringing anything wonderful to the table in return. So for a guy, if you're on Tinder, you're going to see hundreds of women's profiles saying things like, oh yeah, you've got to be successful, rich, you've got to be 6 foot tall. And to be honest, most of the guys just won't cut it. And even the average height in the UK, to pick what's often cited as a deal or no deal type situation, is a man's height. Most men are probably under 6 foot. The average is something like 5'10". But still, this is the ideal for women here. And you've got to have a full head of hair. You've got to be physically in great shape. And this is just a ridiculous criteria that men are being judged on. And whenever I do talk to English women, I kind of feel like they don't see me as a real person. I feel ignored and sidelined, and I just feel like when I speak to women from other countries, it's different. I feel like they at least give me a chance. I've had more success with women from Brazil, from Asia, from Eastern Europe, and I can't be the only one here who's just kind of fed up of English women. I've lived here most of my life, and the dating scene's pretty terrible. I'd much rather date women from any other countries. Now, this is all just my experience, so if you have something different to share, then why don't you just leave a comment? This is actually the second time I posted this video. The first time, unfortunately, the channel got removed, and I'm hoping that this will become my new channel. So guys, keep the comments coming, keep the debate going. Don't be deliberately unkind, just say what you have to say, and I'll look forward to reading your comments, and I'll see you very soon, guys. Thank you. Bye bye.